Hey lovelies, and welcome to our weekly Facebook Live. My name is Jessie Christian. I'm a self-love coach and I'm one of the admins here in the self-love community. And today I'm going to talk about how to create healthy self-care routines that last. A topic that many of you are very interested in, so I'm excited to share a bit more about it. So, if you're anything like me, you've probably decided at some point in your life, okay, from now on, I am going to exercise 3 times per week, and this is going to be my self care and fitness routine. And I kept up with it for a couple of weeks, drop it after a month. So, this is what I want to talk about today, how you can create self-care routines that actually last. Let's dive. So I have tried to create my own self-care routines. Many of them have failed and many of them have worked out. So I want to share with you what makes kind of the difference between a self-care routine that lasts and one that you usually drop, and how you can set a routine that feels good to you and that is also healthy and that you're going to stick with. So, my first tip to create healthy self-care routines that you stick with is that I want you to get clear on what self-care means to you. That means that self-care is something different depending on who you are, depending on where you are and what you're experiencing right now. So it's good to be honest with yourself, to sit down and even journal around what does self-care mean for me. As an example, when I started my self-care routines, wanted to take better care of myself, I went to the gym quite regularly, and was a good routine for a while. It's kind of what everybody else did, and they seemed to like it, or they at least kept up with it. But what I realized was that going to the gym for me is too boring, it's too repetitive, and I needed some other form of movement that made me feel more excited. So I explored, and for me, what I found is that I love going to yoga, or I love going swimming if I want a bit more of a relaxed feel in my movement. So you can do the same. You can explore for you, and that means what is something that fits you personally, what is something that fits your time schedule, very importantly. And then I want you to think about what brings you joy, what brings you energy, because self-care is meant to fill up your cup. It's meant to nourish you. It's meant to give you energy, not to feel dreadful and uninspired. And this is especially important for our busy moms, because I know that, especially with Corona right now, you might have a lot on your plate. So you get to explore what self-care means. When I posted about this live, one of you already commented that, self-care can mean drinking a glass of water. Self-care can mean taking 3 deep breaths. Self-care can mean, giving yourself a break every while. It doesn't have to look a certain way. You can explore what self-care is for you and what you are available for. And what I also want to invite you is that you do not need to have an answer right now on what self-care means for you. You actually can My second tip on how to set healthy self-care routines that last is to start with your why. So get clear on why you want to do this. So most people that struggle with self-care routines, they have one of 2 motivations. The first one is, I should do this, because everybody else does it or because people tell me to. So your motivation is a sense of obligation. Or I have to do this because there's something wrong with me. which is the negative motivation of like self-hatred or self-criticism. Both of these motivations, they're not going to work long term, because if you do this out of obligation or self-criticism, you can kind of get yourself to get some results for a couple of weeks, but after all, you are going to fail because it is just too negative. So an example of obligation would be, I love meditation. I love meditating. I do it daily, but many people around me, they just don't like it, and I think that's okay. So I have friends who are like, I should do meditation. I should be good at this, but you don't. If you don't like it, if you don't like listening to Headspace, if you need more guidance, or if you don't want to meditate at all, that is okay. Because you get to choose what self-care is and what it should feel like for you, what it can feel like for you. And another example for the self-hatred, very common with my body love clients, is that they're like, I need to go to the gym because, I'm too fat or I'm overweight. And that kind of motivation won't get you very far. Instead, if you want to flip it around into a positive motivation, it can look like, I want to go to the gym because I love my body. I want it to feel good. I want to move it. So you can explore what is your why, what is your positive why to doing or and then be clear, because when you're stumbling and when you find it hard to keep up that routine, it's good to look back at why and to remind yourself of why you're doing it. Then my next tip on how to create healthy self-care routines is to start small and make it easy. I have many clients who come to my sessions and they're like, Jessie, I'm gonna now journal every day. And that's not very realistic. If you haven't journaled until then, or you maybe have done it every once in a while, you're setting yourself up for failure if you think you're going to go from 0 to 100. And you put a lot of pressure on yourself. So what I generally check in with them is, what is maybe a smaller goal that you can set for yourself. So start with, I'm going to journal twice per week, or maybe even once per week, and then gently over time raise it when you feel comfortable with that once per week. Similarly, I want you to make it easy for you to incorporate that new routine. Since we're all kind of stuck at home at the moment, that could mean, I can't go to the gym, so how can I make it easy on me to move at home? What is it that I need to feel inspired for myself at home? And my next tip is to get yourself an accountability buddy. And this is kind of a more complex tip, because I know that this doesn't work for everybody. And it only works if you have the right accountability buddy. So for some people, it really helps to share, hey, I am now journaling twice per week with somebody, and it keeps. For others, it can feel very much like pressure, especially if you're a perfectionist and you feel like you're failing if you're not living up to what you said you're going to do. So if you want to work with an accountability buddy, make sure that you trust that person and that person doesn't make you feel shitty if you don't do it. Like if you drop out of your routine, you want a person who then inspires you to get back on the horse, instead of somebody who kicks you when you're down. But it can be very powerful. It's one of the reasons why coaching works so well, because you have somebody who keeps you accountable. You have somebody who stands up for you. For creating healthy self-care routines is that I want you to be compassionate when you drop your routine and be flexible. You will drop your routine. Let's be honest here. It is going to happen. We all know it's going to happen because life happens. So in that moment when you did not journal, or you did not drink that glass of water you promised yourself to drink, or you did not do that, or you did not go to the gym, I want you to be compassionate that you didn't do it. I want you to not beat yourself up, but to be kind and to understand that these things happened. There are days when you're too exhausted. There are days when there's too much on your plate, and that's okay. I do this with my clients. I usually give in-between support during our sessions. So they sometimes text me and they're like, hey, I didn't do what I promised to do. And I always ask them, well, how can you be compassionate with yourself right now? How can you be compassionate now that you've dropped this? And this is quite a mindset shift for many people, because they never thought even like, oh, I can be compassionate now that I've dropped my routine. So yeah, be compassionate with yourself and just get back to it the next day, or even the next week, or the next month. So honest example from myself, I used to go to yoga twice per week, and I dropped this routine now for 9 months because of Corona. And that's okay. That's also okay. It was hard, you know. The yoga studios were closed. They're open now again, and I'm back to my routine now, and that's okay. It's okay. Life comes in seasons. And my last tip I want to leave you with today is to celebrate your achievements. So it's a lot easier to start a new routine when you already have in mind how you are going to celebrate it. So in coaching, whenever we set a goal or we're thinking about what you want to achieve, we also write down how you will. We're very used to celebrating big achievements like university degrees or you got a new job, but it's so important to also celebrate when you are showing up for yourself. So when you are starting your new routine of going to your Zumba class every week, or you're starting your new routine of journaling twice per week, celebrate yourself for that. So write down concretely, if I keep up with this routine for this and that long, I will celebrate by. And if you have an accountability buddy, you can actually take them in with this, so you can celebrate together with them to make this even, more exciting. And this is also a form of positive motivation to get you to stick with a new routine. So yeah, let's go through a healthy self that lasts. First of all, get clear on what self-care means to you. Start with your why, your motivation, why you're doing it. Start small and make it easy for yourself. Get yourself an accountability buddy if that works for you. Then be compassionate when you drop your routine, and be flexible. Be okay that things will change and mold. And last but not least, celebrate your achievements. Celebrate your new routine. You get to deserve to celebrate yourself. So yeah, to sum up, if you love this video and you love the kind of content that we are sharing here in this group, we are actually currently offering some wonderful coaching and some online learning through our new brand, Truly Me. So if this is something that you're interested in and you want to learn more about how to create healthy self-care routines, or you want to learn more about what it can look like to create a life that is like authentic and where you feel confident and show up as yourself, then I'd invite you to jump on a call with us. We're currently offering connection calls where you can learn a bit more if coaching is right for you, or if our online modules are right for you. And if you sign up before March, we are currently offering still our 15% early bird discount. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, I would love to invite you to jump on a call with us and to chat. Okay, lovelies. Well, I wish you a beautiful day and a beautiful week, and take care. And I'm going to see you in the group. Bye-bye.